Hey there, welcome to a quick little recap of one of the seasons of Aurorum Mole Remnants. This was recorded as part of a live stream where we had to cancel the session, so things are a little bit crazy. It's all in the raw, same as always, but I hope you like our recap and our take on it, sometimes from the perspective of over a year since we played these sessions, and sometimes the emotions are very real. Anyways, hope you enjoy. Then the first thing I actually want to cover is session zeros. We never actually stopped and did like a retrospective of the session zeros. So let's kind of like dive into the retrospective of the session zeros. I'd love to hear your own individual viewpoint of your session zeros, but I actually think it'd be more fun to hear other people's viewpoints of your session zero first, so you can get an impression of how they felt and then kind of like share yours, whether or not you agreed or you contrasted to that, so on and so forth. So I think the order by which we did the session zeros for viewers was it went Mikhail, then Aldo, then Koa. I think it was actually the order they got released in. So let's do it in that order right now and allow Keegan some time to finish eating dinner. We'll talk about Mikhail's session zero first, and we'll allow Wade and Jake to talk about that session zero, and then let Mikhail talk about it, and Keegan talk about it, then we'll move on to the next one. So kind of like, I don't know, who wants to go first? Wade, how about you? You go first. Let's talk about Mikhail's session zero, what you remember about it, what you want to like kind of call to, so on.
So I hadn't played Pathfinder since I think Mortifer. So his session zero, I spent trying to remember a lot of the Pathfinder details. I think I was also traveling at that time. I don't know if I was in town, so I was kind of like watching it bits and pieces on mobile when I could.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to learn a bit, as much as I could, about the world of Aurorum. Because I remember him traveling around and getting robbed and getting fucked over. And I was like, okay, well, Scott's setting a precedence for how this is going to go for us. And I was right. The thing that still in my mind I wonder about with his session zero was he came across like a settlement. I don't think that was Herod, but it's a settlement we've never either revisited or I don't know where the fuck it is, who those people are, but they existed, and I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna one day go back and talk to these people, and we never did.
You did.
Did we?
Yeah, actually, I think it was even season 1. It may have been season 2. But I think it was actually season 1. You guys went back and revisited it, and it was even like mentioned in that session. And the woman actually invited all 3 of you to stay at her place instead of just Mikhail, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was on the way. It was when we were on the way to Hot Gwen for the first time.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Don't remember.
No,
but I believe you.
Not every moment is the most exciting. So go on.
I just remember, I don't know, like I said, trying to learn the mechanics for the most part. I remember him meeting those people. There was the Orsugo rumor, which became a prevalent thing through all of our session zeros to some extent. And just really wondering what I got myself into, knowing that this was a campaign where immediately all the stuff we spent like 10 hours putting together could get robbed from us in the first 30 seconds. So,
wasn't 30 seconds. It's like
there's some foreshadowing right there.
It was like 20
sure
minutes.
Was. Yeah. Yeah, the whole rob the bank thing, I feel like really was ingrained in viewers and our minds starting in Mikhail's session zero when all of his shit still hasn't been resolved. I don't think anything in this game has been resolved starting with Mikhail's session zero. Honestly,
okay, I feel like I just set myself up to be just flame.
That is very fitting. Jake, you give your perspective. I'm going to reflect on that thought for a moment.
I don't think I need to be here for this recap.
Dude, you told us we were doing a roast or whatever tonight. We're just doing what you said.
Okay, yeah.
Look, I've played in Aurorum before, and this time it is very different, and that was evident in his session zero really when people's reaction to magic, which we've seen a bit of since, but we've kind of been in a bigger city for the most time, and Mikhail doesn't overtly use magic a lot. So it's something I'm actually looking forward to. Like, if we were just in Rid, if he had done something, overt in Rid, that would have been really interesting to see all their reactions, right? So it was nice to see that kind of fear of like a cantrip, right? Just by the the people in general. So I remember that was a big takeaway I got, and just remembering how that's going to flavor the world moving forward. But yeah, like you said, Wade, I mean, he got robbed straight away. And if that hasn't been more or less a foreshadowing of the whole campaign of us just, just getting robbed in one sense or another the whole
He
time.
had a goal and he wanted to get to one spot. Immediate side quest.
Yeah. But yeah,
Us
I
getting
mean,
fucked over an immediate side quest. Dude, the themes.
yeah, I mean, there was also where when he used magic, they thought he was Orsugo for a minute there, which was kind of amusing. That was
Dude,
fun.
at this point, after spoilers, after some recent reveals, he could be. I don't know. I'm not ruling it out.
Where was he when all that fire magic was going on? I don't know. Do we spot
Nearby.
him?
I was looking at it with you. What do you mean?
I don't remember
nearby?
that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it was during his watch that evening, actually. Like he was like, "Hey, guys, wake up! Come see this."
Who was asleep when we had all the fires at the Twisted Grove and we're fighting off things?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If Mikhail could jump however many leagues that was to get back where you guys were during that fire, but he couldn't jump like a 7-foot gap that one time.
It's called acting.
Dude, Gwen can barely tie a shoe. She's so like mousy and like shaky, and then all of a sudden, I don't have a good analogy for the knocking out of an entire place, but just yeah, that.
Mikhail, what would you like to say about your own session 0 after hearing their opinions of it? Anything you care to share?
Well, yeah, that one bit that I already said with all my stuff, but
Well, considering that, I don't know if everybody heard that. You want to repeat your bit? I'm happy if you don't.
oh, you mean all my stuff getting stolen and that not being resolved? That being like the first thing that happened to me was like, hey, yeah, you should bond with these NPCs who are giving you a ride. That'd be great. You can play some music, you can swap some stories, have a drink of their terrible hooch, and then they'll rob you blind. Because that's what Scott's NPCs do. Especially if he wants to try to get you to like them.
You did meet one of those NPCs later on.
Uh-huh. And he didn't have my stuff or know where it was. Or even where the other guy was.
Dude, this is a triggering recap already. I'm already going through in my head all the moments that.
Yeah, I mean, just wait.
Off.
Just wait till we get to the all the people we hired and all the help they gave us.
I'm thinking of the 13
coming up soon.
sessions of befriending Curve Rock just to have him burn his shit and get robbed.
Chat, don't worry. You can always assist the party with KKs. Kayla's kindness is named that for a reason. You can always help the party along with some positive energy. The party likes it when you help them along. They appreciate that. We don't need...
that happened. There were some other impressions. I did like having a bit of pressure put on the character. That's the thing I asked for, because I wanted there to be a moment where it made sense for him to use magic, so that like not only could I see what like the in-world reaction to it would be, but then like the viewers would get to see it, and I think that played out pretty well. That was pretty cool. Didn't know what the motherfucking Orsugo was. When he got that screamed at him. but no, that was cool. I liked that whole scene, how that played out. Went from being the monster out of the woods to like, oh, okay, he's actually cool. That was nice. There was one other thing I was thinking about mentioning. Wait, my session 0 was the one. Yeah, the freaking Captain Tor was in that. Yeah, we had that stranger danger moment, and I remember being also as a player being like, "The fuck is happening right now?" Does Scott need me to get kidnapped? Move the plot for? I'm not doing that.
See, proof that none of this is scripted. Because even Keegan was like, "I'm getting the willies. I'm out of here." So yeah, yep.
Yeah, there was no shot, and then no, but that was a pretty good kind of lean into like the first sort of story hook we had with Cleven Gemsmith getting kidnapped, because I couldn't talk him out of going to see the obvious predator. But of course, being a little too chicken shit to like be more forceful. So is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that one. But it led to us taking down a slave ring. So
Well, asterisk.
Nah.
it
I mean,
led to us
technically
becoming
speaking,
famous for taking out a slave ring.
I mean, like we'll get to that shortly with the next recap, but yes, no asterisk, but yeah. So, anyways, cool.
Oh, is it spoiler-free recap? What are you talking about?
Well, no, and all the spoilers you want, but that's different season than just the openings. But
Okay.
either way, so
Yeah, it's fun.
to kind of like just tag on at the end here with what Jake said. For me, it was the ability to press a hard reset on a couple of preconceived notions from previous viewers, so on and so forth. So kind of like set the tone when it came to the rarity and reaction to magic in areas where it's very rarely seen. Mikhail has gotten really good at using it discreetly since then. Very rarely uses it in the open, and when he does, it's usually against targets of the magic that are immediately defeated afterwards. Certainly there have been reactions since of people being like, in various ways, either to the casting or to the effects of the casting sense. So it was nice for me to get a reset and then to kind of, maintain that to a degree. It was also nice to get to meet the character, Mikhail, who, as we've learned over the time, is not 100% as he seems. And that was kind of hinted at even in a session 0, which is nice. And then also set up some basic plot points there, which was, Orsugo and a couple of other elements. So fun for me.
So him being robbed of his possessions was a parallel to him being robbed of like moral or what's the word I'm looking for? Empathy. It's empathy.
I mean, can't be robbed of something he never had.
Well, at conception or birth, I guess he was robbed of it. Scott,
Okay.
you look great today, by the way, for being a short, old asshole. You're welcome.
They give you
But
For
he's short of 5'11".
For some reason, I had to sneak both of those in there right now for, Zero and Spiral or
Let's talk about
Subspiring.
Aldo next. Wade and Keegan. Let Wade go first. If you want to talk about Aldo Session 0 and kind of like your overall memory and the impression it left on you when you watched that one.
There are two things I recall from Aldo Session 0. The one first being he and Koa had we had the same idea for how both of those should start. Leaving at least my character. I don't remember if your NPC got a name. I got Daisy, who just made a nice return that went really well. And then unfortunately for you, but fortunately for all of us, we had the peak of Jake's RP in the Session 0 with the craziest fucking manipulation of Scott and Scott's NPC and just back and forth, like, what the fuck is going on series of events.
Like a high school football captain, he peaked early. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying he's always great, but that moment was just so unexpected. We didn't know the character, didn't know what he could pull off. And he had all of us flabbergasted, but especially seeing Scott suffer through that.
He did. So bad.
Was brilliant to me. Yeah. The whole like Billy bullshitting turning into, oh, so we have a deal. And then Scott and Elliot both being, I think it was Elliot? It was Elliot, right? Not Malik.
Yeah.
It was Elliot. Both what did I just agree to? It was like, oh, cinema.
Keegan, your opinion of it?
I mean, yeah, dude. Like, I always find myself a little jealous of the shit Jake can pull off, whether it just be his character concept or like. I usually can't tell when he's cooking something up, but like, when he's about to pull the trigger. It's like, oh, this is gonna be good. But getting that introduction to it, like before we've had a chance to like get to know this character and whatnot, was a crazy ride. That, like Wade was saying, it was just that manipulation sequence. Like, I feel like you could teach a class on that. I don't know what the class would be over, and I'm sure the moral would be all kinds of fucked up.
There's a pyramid scheme called Getting What You Want, led by Jake. That's what the class would be.
It's like the new age how to win friends and influence people or whatever. But it was, yeah, like, I don't even know what else to say. It was really awesome. It made me really excited to like. I was really hyped to like be in the campaign and meet the characters before, but then after watching that, I was like, God, fuck, I want to play. Why do I have to wait? Hell no, queue up a game.
I remember thinking, oh man, I don't know how good of a party we're gonna be. We're gonna be a wild, rowdy bunch.
Yeah, until somebody came along, and we'll get to that shortly.
It made me excited for like what other characters that he would make for himself in this one character. That I was like, okay, this will be fun.
Jake, I'm curious what your opinion of your Session 0 was.
My Session 0, like I had Aldo planned out, but I still, I guess, didn't really know how I was going to play him exactly. Like, he was a drunk, he was a liar, but that, I guess, that scene with Elliot really kind of cemented where I was going to go with Aldo. And
it wasn't pissing out the
been...
window and splattering on some guy on the ground?
No, that was good though.
Okay,
but,
okay, cool. Continue. Sorry.
But yeah, no, I think. I mean, I also, if I go back and think about it, I stole some items from that hobgoblin glugmug woman, and I also didn't get them back, so I was kind of robbed in my Session 0 as well.
No, hold on. Oh, yes, that's right. Because currently,
remember, I was like, no, wait, have them back. And you're like,
no,
you wouldn't. You know, you don't have them back.
Items, I know exactly what you're talking about. There was I believe it was a ring. Was there a key and like a bit of parchment?
I had the key. The key we took to.
That's right.
The mountain keep.
Yeah, that's right.
So I somehow had the key, but not the ring.
But not the ring. And then there was, I think it was a bit of parchment. No, a dagger. And it was a dagger that you took too. And those two would have would still theoretically be in Leshev, where you're seen very well in Friends of the Captain of the Guard and so on. So theoretically, you could go and collect those again. But we'll wait until your character, goes back to Dathomir first. But go continue. Sorry, sir.
That's right. But I mean, getting into the character of Billy was fun, and I did have a bunch of characters planned out, which we haven't really explored. I am starting to get I get a lot of ideas for the priest character, which is, if you've noticed in a couple of sessions recently, I've been like spewing that kind of rhetoric. But
what?
Yeah. That's just,
none of us know because you were 500 miles away rambling drunk.
That's true.
I'm like bashing people in the head, and you're like, Jesus loves you. This I know, for my Bible tells you so. Only 10 gold.
Praline in my liver, mate. That's it.
No, wait. Does your Bible come with a pocket constitution included or no?
Go on, Jake.
Let's roll for it.
Oh, that's what you find on Roll for It. That's why we're here on Lost Initiative. That's right. That's right, Maggie.
That's true. God would never bless this area.
Ouch. Moving on.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that it, Jake?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, so I won't lie. Jake he said, oh, I've played an Aurorum some before. Nah, literally the only person with the most time in Aurorum other than me is Jake. And even then, he's currently in a campaign in Aurorum that I'm not in. So he's trying to catch up in hours right now. He's getting that DM to do like extra long sessions so he can claw his way back. So he's fiending for his next non-Scott DM to do it too. Anyway, so yeah, Jake has some experience. I was curious to see what he'd do because I've seen Jake play all sorts of different characters. Every one of them are unsavory, but all sorts of different characters. And it was fun to like, okay, cool. He's playing this fun character. It's fun to see him go out there. I can once again hint at a couple of different things through a couple of Easter eggs, whatever it was, And then Billy came. And so Brittany, as my spouse, I tell her about the sessions when they're particularly exciting. She doesn't hear about every week. She hears probably about every third week. She hears about a recap of the session with maybe some smatterings of prior sessions as well. I made her watch the entire Billy scene, and she was glued to it. She was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't know Jake was this good. You look like you're miserable. And I was like, yeah, I was pretty happy with how horrible that was. Yeah, like it was It was top notch. It was one of the best like RP scenes that I had been a part of in all the years. So thank you for that, Jake. But oh boy, I was trying to use your session 0 as a vessel so that you can discover your character and so I can lay out some plot points. And instead, you use your session 0 to discover your character and make me suffer. So hats off for meeting me halfway.
He set the bar at A+.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he really kicked your ass too. It was pretty great.
Yep. Moving on. Let's talk
Can't
about.
see me, but I'm pointing at you.
Oh, I feel it. I feel that energy. Is it a
That's
one
good.
finger point, or are you going like Disney 2-finger point?
Yes.
You got a 3-finger point.
Guess mentally.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, so now let's talk about Koa. I guess we'll have Keek, if you want to start first and give your opinion of Koa Session 0 and how that, if the other two set the tone of the world. Well, never mind. I'll reserve mine. Keegan, you give your opinion. Before I share mine.
A lot happened in Koa's as well. Yeah, like it did. I did feel like we were trying to set a certain tone like right at the beginning, but then by the end of it, it was so much different. And I think that's the thing that struck me the most with his was just how it evolved from open to close, from the stuff with Daisy and then like to the stuff with Phil dying, and we're still like seeing the product of that now. That's the I don't know, that's every time I think of that session I'm just like, man, that was a whole miniature arc, pretty self-contained. And I mean, you killing Phil without a roll was kind of fucked,
Oh, there was a roll. There was a roll to see who died, not to hit.
You know what? That's fair, Wade. I've never.
It was the magic missile of short bows or whatever the fuck it was.
I don't think you ever have to obey another like be nice to DM. That was you just ran defense for Scott. It was crazy.
Well, no, that wasn't really defense. That was more so. No, someone was dying. He was fucked up enough to say, "We're gonna roll to see who dies."
But
no to hit, not to hit.
But Phil dying was was kind of heavy, given the lead up to it. And I am curious. I have been curious about it. Were you pretty much ready for that die to land on anyone?
Yes.
Okay.
If it was a PC, obviously it would have been an attack roll.
Yeah, of course. But
and how do you know it was an attack roll
Obviously.
against Phil?
You yourself.
because you admitted it several times. So I don't know why you would try to gaslight us on that one. But no, that's just the thing. I'm curious. It was like, okay, I figure it's probably going to be this person. I'll roll. Oh, it landed on the person that I thought it would be. Or if it was like, oh shit, now I got to kill Phil. That's going to be different. But I don't know. Honestly, just I really liked how that didn't end up the way that I expected it to from where it started.
Either.
Jake, what was your opinion?
It was good to see actually, the start of that session 0, right? You have this like free folk young fella who, likes to fight and fuck, I guess. You know what I mean? Fight and fuck his way across Idir. And so he takes a job, and then there's at the end of the job, there's like the character defining moment that changed your preconception of what or who Koa was, I guess. So I mean, that was huge, right? That's what really stuck out to me, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wade?
I mean, I would take it even a step further. Starting off with, it was Daisy, and then there was the bar where there was a temptation for a bar fight. But I think that was either right before or right after I talked to Leon for the first time, who I had no idea who the fuck that was. It was just like, oh, he has a nice horse. And I was like, well, I guess Scott's telling me to talk to him. I don't know why, but yeah, I'll go talk to this random dude in the bar. Like, I guess I'm looking to either get laid or compliment a man's horse. So, but Leon and I didn't fuck, so it was like, okay, I guess I'll move on to the next guy, which ended up being Phil. So it was fun going back to Rid to see the results of Daisy's got more notches on her belt than Koa, which is kind of amazing, I think, at this point. So
Oh,
good
we
for
don't know
her.
how many notches Koa's belt has been.
No, we don't. But like, dude, hats off to Daisy. I'm just gonna assume she wins. It took her about 3 seconds to get Mikhail, which is crazy. But no, the whole trek across the woods with Phil and his family almost, I don't want to say pigeonholed because it wasn't like a bad thing, but like it almost forced me to confront aspects of Koa that I wasn't ready to almost because he was still such a new character. But when you're alone with just 2 or 3 characters and there's nothing but intimate moments, not like sexually intimate, but just like personal conversations, character developmental conversations, it's not like I was roaming around drunkenly having fights. It's like, no, he was responsible for their well-being. They were like a really sweet, nice family that was like good to him, showed him like how to cook, helped him hunt. They were just always very kind to each other. It just seemed like a really nice family. And Koa was thrown into that group. And it's like, okay, I had intentionally written into his backstory nothing crazy. He was a character who did not have a horribly tragic backstory or whatever else. And so we had this nice like family thing throughout the woods that kind of, in my eyes, reflected the travels that Koa and his parents probably had prior because they did a lot of moving. So it's like, okay, he and this family are traveling together. So it's a familial feeling. And then for the first time in his life, whenever they get close to Leshev, there's another happy singing moment and Phil is killed. And that is the first failure he'd had as a mercenary. It was almost like seeing, it was probably the first friend or family member he'd lost. It was a horrible, tragic moment for him. And this was a good family who, you know, reacted in a way that you'd expect. And the mom asked Koa to get revenge and whatever. And Koa, you know, being a young, angry, sad kid, agreed to, which led to a whole nother thing. But his like path to good was really set by Phil and his family being so kind and good, it being reminiscent of his travels with his family, and then it ending the way it did. And it wasn't a character arc I expected, and it was definitely not how I had originally designed Koa. I thought the other two would be the moral ones, and Koa would kind of be a rowdy, chaotic, neutral character who was kind of like, fuck it, let's like, not quite Mortifer chaotic, but you know, I mean, up there. But having to play him for the first time and getting to know him and just that circumstance, that's where he ended up, which I think surprised me quite a bit. Did not expect that. And I'm trying to remember all the things I saw in the woods. I'm pretty sure maybe we saw people from Vigil. Maybe that was the army or something we saw moving through.
Saw a giant fire.
Saw the fire. Saw the. Those are the. I think there were 3 things we saw that I didn't know of in the woods. One was fire. One was the army. I thought there was one other thing, but
I don't remember. It could have been. I remember like the you noticed that the wagon was made out of particularly strong materials
Yeah.
when it didn't break so easily.
I rolled well and figured out dark wood pretty early.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, it was really good. But it was like Keegan said, it was an entire arc that I didn't expect to go on, with a very, there was no roll, so it was bullshit, emotional ending. That's made him the most fucking annoying goody character I maybe have ever played. Graph was pretty good, but Koa is like in your face good, and he has the muscle to back it up. And he's my burden to bear.
So talking about Koa first. Obviously I was continuing to use that session to lay some groundwork. Now that we're starting the campaign next session, right? Like I'm now 12 hours in or whatever it is. I'm starting the campaign next session. I was laying the groundwork of where we're gonna go. We did that with Mikhail, where we ran into Tor. We did that a little bit with Aldo and kind of getting him arrested and just noticing some aspects of the world around him or whatever. But with Koa, it was like the foundational, like we have to have a trigger point to kind of pull people together. So that was like where I wanted to go with things, so on and so forth. But for his moral stuff that I was doing there, like the attacking potential death of one of the family members, because again, they could have attacked Koa and just hurt him and nobody died. The potential death, like the 75% chance that one of the family members died, was meant to be a moment to kind of like see who Koa was as a person. We saw him start off as just a free folk fuckboy, right? And the free folk as a concept was literally created by a viewer, a patron from years ago in a different, iteration of the world. So seeing that be foundational to this world, and then like the development of they're more than just, mercenaries. They're people that also have like dynamic morals and so on. It was like really, really cool. And then seeing him decide to shine as a beacon of light, nobody expected that, right? Nobody expected that. I'll circle back to that one in a second. The other thing I really wanted to show out with yours was if I could get you to find them Easter eggs here and there. Somebody's called it out in chat. You saw like the reflections or whatever it was moving through the woods that looked like, ghost-like figures or like armor moving through the woods. Koa was able to see that because of his low light vision, me hinting at him having low light vision. And that was the Vigilites that we inevitably found, right? Which is incredible. The fact that you found that's so cool. And then you also found like a hint towards the nodes that were there. Because you found the fires, like the roaring fires that wouldn't have made sense to have or have burned so bright or where have you. That was a hint towards the nodes that were in the area, but he was able to see that.
What do you mean nodes?
Just like the water one, the sacred geometry that we've discovered later on.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So those kinds of things. There were a lot of like little hints like that, and that just kind of like it was crazy to see how it all unfolded. And of course, Wade, like the other two, very good at role playing and kind of discovering his character and what have you, which is nice. And then stepping away from Koa and looking at the overarching reason why I do the session zeros that I do. I know session zero is a term that's been co-opted by the greater D&D community to mean sitting around the table and talking about what you want your campaign to be about. That doesn't make sense to me to define that as a session zero because it's not a session. That's just planning what kind of campaign you want to play. My term session zero is meant for the characters, the PCs getting to know their characters. It's a one shot, if you will, a solo session where you as the PC have put this person on paper with a backstory and numbers and all this stuff. But like, who are they? You haven't actually been that person yet. You might be like one of those psychos like me that sits in the shower and like talks to yourself or talks to like non-existing people as that character to kind of like help build the persona. You might be a psycho like that, or you might literally just have numbers on paper and call it a day. But that gives you that chance.
That sounds more psycho to me.
I'm sorry?
See, that sounds more psycho to me.
Scott sitting in the shower, like Brittany walks in, he's just curled up, holding his legs, like,
It doesn't have to hurt the party. Yes, we do. No, it doesn't.
I mean, sometimes literally with that voice. So I've said it before. I learned to do the Gollum voice because Brittany hates Gollum, and so I did it just to fuck with her. And I used to just do it over the phone, so she thought it was an app. And then I would start doing it like from behind her across the room at night, and she'd be like, "What the fuck?" Anyways,
Gollum, what are you doing? Why are you here?
Christopher.
No, that might just turn her on. Anyway, so you
Drop your pants.
The reason why we
Daddy's home and he's hungry.
No. Bad way.
Sorry.
Right. Oh God.
These urges, they're just strong, you know.
What happened to? Oh, we apparently switched scenes. Weird. I don't know how long ago we switched scenes, but we switched scenes at some point. Anyway, so back to the game. You are back to the session zeros are meant to be you learning your character, and it's cool because like we saw Mikhail. Part of that was like he asked to be pressed at some point in time, but obviously he didn't know what was going on, and he got that so we could try to like find some like shall we say cut out some facets on the gem that is Mikhail. And then Aldo, we knew he was starting off drunk or what have you, but we didn't really know where that was going. And then we met Billy because Jaaek got that moment to like really find himself in there. And the same with Koa. Like Wade had Koa. He was meant to be some kind of like goofy, chaotic, barbarian fuckboy. And then we found Koa because of that session zero. And these characters would simply not be the same people. They'd be some different version of who they are if we didn't do the session zeros first to help the PCs find themselves in the character or find the character in themselves, right? Like that was like a defining thing. And I'm glad we did that because all three of you like really, really put your heart into it and found that, and they've become who they are. So really, really cool. And I bring that up to say, if you are a DM out there and if there's any piece of advice I could give that I hope you take, try to do session zeros with your characters, with your PCs. It really helps to hone them. It's for them. It's not even for you. It's for them, though. You get to then take the opportunity to build, things to work off of later on.
Or rob them.
Or rob them.
Yep.
Awesome. Any final notes about the session zeros, or should we move on?
I do got to give you credit though. I will say that because I mean I have been in a lot of Aurorum games, and the session zeros, the way you do them, really do allow you to bring your concept from paper and really just kind of make it your own. So the way you do that is really helpful.
I have a mixed feeling about them because my entire time playing, especially playing as Mortifer, I had like imposter syndrome because Scott technically killed Mortifer in his session 0, and that, I swear to God, has lived rent free in my head for 7 years. That I played a dead character for however many sessions.
So I did that rule that's there is not a real rule. That's a homebrew rule, but still, it's a homebrew rule that
One
is
we'd
accepted at the
established,
table.
it happened, and I was like, dude, this is 3 seconds into my session 0.
But well, it was like maybe 20 minutes or whatever.
My second ever game.
It was like legitimately in. But anyway, so yeah, no, you're not right. And this goes to the age-old rule that I also sometimes struggle with. Don't roll the dice if you want. Don't roll the dice if you don't want the outcome to be a chance, right? And that's like so like by having a session 0 be this intense combat, like technically that could have happened with Koa. I technically could have rolled a nat 20 with a success and done a ×3 damage attack against you with a bow in your session 0 with Koa. Technically that could have happened again. You know what I mean? So you definitely have to be careful. Don't roll the dice unless you're willing to adhere to the outcomes with that one. So with Phil, I did not roll the dice. I rolled the die to see who it hit, and then I got the outcome I wanted, right? So
yeah,
that's
didn't have to roll that.
You learn from your mistakes. You know what I mean? You learn from your mistakes. I learned from Mortifer to just kill Phil.
That is crazy that you would pin it on me and my character that you killed Phil because of that. The ultimate victim blaming.
I don't think that's victim blaming. I think we are just making sure that we appropriately define things as they need to be defined.
So did you did you really want it to be Phil, right? Because I mean he was a beloved character who appeared in many different, campaigns.
If I remember
were you
right,
kind of hoping it was going to be him?
I thought 2 of the numbers were his wife. I thought he really wanted it to be whatever her name, Philomena or Philippa. I still don't know their fucking name.
Philippa was the wife, Philomena was the daughter. I actually did prefer that it would be one of his family members because that would change the overall who Phil was, because he's generally, in the old version of the game, he was this like kind-hearted, open, like it would have like put a stain on him and changed him as a character. But huh?
Was he gonna go like full Thomas Wayne?
I don't know what Thomas Wayne means.
Oh, it's Batman's dad. If Bruce died instead of him, he goes like he becomes Murder Batman.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I don't know that alt universe. I know original Batman was Murder Batman, but then they changed him when they changed to from Detective Comic, so from the original comics to DC or whatever. But no, I didn't know. So he was just going to be intrinsically a different person, but still be available as an asset. You know what I mean? Just a different vibe kind of a thing. By killing Phil, it changed it in my opinion, a better way. I don't know if Koa would have had the same kind of reaction if it was one of them that died. And I don't know. It's so hard to speculate because we're 300 hours removed from it. So it's like it's so hard to speculate where it would have gone.
If Koa had gotten hit, or if one of them had died, I don't know. I can't help but wonder, like, if part of the reaction. I mean, Wade lost my dad at a young age, and Phil was kind of like, even though Koa has parents, we've never met them in game, so it was kind of like a fatherly almost figure to Koa throughout the travels. I also wonder if that would have been any different, or if Koa had if Phil and his family had been fine, would Koa still be a little shithead instead? I don't know.
Right.
What ifs we'll never know the answer to.
Yeah, if he took that shot instead of one of them, and then he was able to drop them, he probably would have been a little bit more egocentric.
Yeah.
We've already seen a little bit of Superman syndrome, right?
A little bit of Superman syndrome, you're saying?
Yeah.
Superman actually gets his syndromes from me.
Moving on. I hope you liked that recap. Please take a moment to leave a comment on what you thought of it, what your favorite part of the recap was, if maybe we missed something, got something wrong, or if you would like to see some sort of evolution of how recaps are done, starting with season 5 and moving forward. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.